G'day guys, welcome back to True Footy. It is a new month and therefore a new version of Unpopular Opinions. You guys let us know your unpopular opinions on the YouTube community tab. Today Dylan and I are going to discuss them. Dylan, let's get straight into it. We have Graz, who says Josh Treacy is a top 10 player in the comp. What do you think?
I saw this one come through and like my initial reaction to this is it's a no. Because I'm like, there'd be 10 other players that I would have above Josh Treacy. I'm not sure if you're going to make me go through those, but...
I will.
There's the Dacoses. There's the...
Both of them.
The Dacos.
Yeah.
I'd still have Nas ahead of someone like a Treacy.
Yeah.
Your Bontempelli type players. Heaney, of course. There's an argument, guys like Butters and Goulden and these types of players as well. Cozzy Pickett, Max Gawn, Jeremy Cameron. I know currently...
Would you go Jeremy Cameron still?
Well, probably not on current form.
Yeah.
But it depends how we are doing this.
Yeah.
So if you didn't...
Luke Jackson
I would have ahead of him as well.
Okay. We've got 8.
We've got 8 already. Does he fit into the top 10? Does it really matter? That's probably where I'm going with it. Is he the best?
We're all going to die one day.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like I kind of get where Graz is coming from, is what I'm trying to say. Like, is he a top 10 player? Probably not quite. Is he the best key position forward in the comp? Probably yes.
Yes.
I would say he is at the moment. So you've just, like, in that particular position, you've beaten every other team in the competition. Who really gives a fuck?
So we just named 8 there. So he's pretty close regardless.
It'd be close.
Jordan Dawson would be another one you'd throw in there as potentially being a bit better on current
form.
Yeah.
I'd definitely say Jordan Dawson. But like, yeah, you could probably almost pull a midfielder out of, like a mid-forward type out of most clubs and probably have them above someone like a Josh Treacy. But then he's probably he'd be like the top 15, top 20.
Yeah, I'd say top 15 minimum at the moment.
Who would you have out of Treacy and like a Shea Bolton?
I would go Treacy.
You go Treacy?
I think that type of player is more valuable. Which is not to say that Bolton is not valuable, but I think you go the big, powerful, match-winning key forward.
Yeah, that's a fair call.
Bit of positional bias there.
I don't think anyone at Brisbane's on current form ahead of him. I mean, like Zach Bailey would sort of be up there, but you wouldn't say that he's categorically above a Josh Treacy.
No. Harris Andrews over a period of time.
Of course.
But right now, I think Treacy's the more valuable player. So I think it's actually a pretty good shout.
It's a good shout.
It's not
That's what I'm saying.
True.
So like if you're doing stank or bank for this, it's bank.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, objectively, is he top 10? I don't know.
Yeah. We'll move to Lancelot, who says each regular season game has never mattered less than it does right now. While the end of the season may be more interesting with the top 10 system, the start and middle of the season are suffering significantly with the reduced consequences of losing a given fixture. The weekly interest from fans of good and experienced teams in the competition now are at an all-time low.
Completely agree with this. I reckon all of the... AFL was already a sport that kind of had that built into it because we don't really reward anything for the regular season. I think with the new, allowances to teams getting into the top 10, there is a part that makes that more interesting for the teams that are kind of placed between about, 8th and 14th or something like that. There's still that kind of jeopardy there for those teams. But for the actual season as a whole, you kind of like... You can have a bit of a Brisbane season like they're having this season. They've had a really poor one. A Carlton. The form that they've shown throughout the start of the season should never really give you an opportunity to get back into finals. It's kind of, on some level, it's kind of cool that they can, but it does take out the meaning of some of these home and away season games. Yeah,
I kind of agree. I still think you doing a Brisbane though, you still want to be in that top 5. Right? So 6, I don't know how much has changed. Yeah, 6, I suppose. Yeah, 6 is just about as good as 5th. So I don't know, the top end positions, I think I've said recently, finishing top 6 seems better now than it did last year, but it actually isn't an amazing position to feel it. If you're a genuine premiership contender, finishing 5th or 6th, 99% of the time you don't win the premiership, right? I don't know if that number is literally correct because it has happened a couple of times, but
twice. It's actually happened.
Yeah, it's happened twice under the current system with the Bulldogs and the Brisbane Lions. The Bulldogs finished 7th, to be specific. So all it does is create a little bit more intrigue of say, a Carlton. So that's a big plus. But there still is jeopardy to being 7th and losing games because
you're saying that even if you finish as much as it opens up the door for those teams in 11th, 12th, 13th, it's the door's still shut really. You're not winning it.
Yeah, and it's still not okay to slide from 6th to 9th.
Yeah. I think this is going to be one, like the proof's going to be in the pudding come the end of the season. Like if the grand final ends up being Freo and Sydney, then we kind of knew all along.
Yeah.
Like the evidence was there for us. But it will be interesting. It will be interesting. Like I'd love to see what happens if a Brisbane Lions do finish in 6th or 7th. I mean, if they finish in that top 6. But like even if they finish a 5th or a 6th, like can they keep it going for that? You know, if they get that first win, they're kind of as good as they ever were. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a decent shout.
But then last year, had they also, let's revert back to the top 8 system, still finishing 5th or 6th is equally stanky. Like I probably wouldn't tip Brisbane to win the flag from 5th or 6th, or even say that they're a good chance
This year.
Yeah.
Does
Does 5th sound better now because there's a 10? But it's actually not. If you're a premiership contender, it's actually not a great spot.
It's one extra game,
Yeah.
essentially. Because if you're
yeah.
two of the teams are going to lose in the first week of finals or the first week of the qualifying finals anyway, and then they'll play that 5th or 6th team, right?
Yeah.
So it's no extra games.
No, it's not an extra game if you finish top 6. You play an extra
It's
game.
just an
if you
extra
finish
game that you
7th
can't
or-
lose.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's kind of a symmetry with the World Cup now, how that's expanded.
Yeah.
And it's easier than ever to get out of the group stage. And you're like, fantastic, I'm out of the group stage. But then you're at a round of 32, which is the same size as the World Cup's ever been.
Yeah.
32 teams. So you're like, wait a minute, this isn't actually good.
Yeah, we're not actually better off for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is. It's kind of more games, opens up the ladder. But I get the overall point is that nobody's really dead in the season. So the season becomes more pointless. Like there is a truth to that.
Yeah.
As I said, the proof will be in the pudding. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
But unless you're a fan of that individual team like the Giants, the Saints, the Blues, and even North Melbourne now, right? Like your finals hopes are still alive.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I support a team that's nowhere near it, so like
I must
can't
admit,
relate.
I was pretty keen for the wild card because I thought it does kind of take out that tanking element to it, and you have a team like I think Carlton's a good example of that team. They're actually believing in something now,
Yeah.
and they would be gone otherwise. But it does. The season starts, and you go, oh fuck! Like I see a team lose, and I'm like, oh, they've actually been like, you know, it would be a hole that they would have to climb out of here, and now it's kind of like, well, it's not really that big of a hole because you're so close. You could have a losing record and basically make the finals.
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, the Bulldogs St Kilda game was actually a massive one though for deciding the top 10. Like that hurt St Kilda to lose that game, and the Bulldogs I think moved up to 7th,
which is the positive of it.
Yeah.
Because then you get a game like that may not have mattered too much.
Yeah.
Probably would have mattered for the Western Bulldogs, but not for St Kilda in past years.
Yeah, and GWS and Carlton, another example this
Yes.
weekend of two teams trying to crack into that 10.
It's a good chat. I think like the finals will play out and we'll see.
Stat Chat Sports, shout out. We were just guests on the Stat Chat channel. The great quiz show. We won't spoil what happened, but that'll be out in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Spreading the mid-season bye over 5 weeks as we have this year is better than having the bye over 1 to 2 weeks. I'm barely noticing the slightly fewer games each week this year, much less so than past years where you might only have 4 or 5 games in a round during the bye weeks.
Interesting shout and probably quite contrarian, I would say, compared to the consensus of what people... I normally hear with the buys being spread out for a long time, people argue against it. I must admit I've flipped in this area as I've gone from being a general football fan and someone that played some fantasy sports in I played a bit of AFL fantasy and Supercoach and stuff like that. It's fucking annoying to have the buy spread out in those kind of sports. It just completely disrupts the season.
Totally.
So I completely understand the perspective of those guys. Since I've gone into content, it's kind of nice because you get to the weekend of games and it's really difficult to keep up with all of the games across a weekend when you have to watch them all, you have to analyse them. So having like 6 or 7 games as opposed to 9 makes it easier.
Yeah.
So I've sort of liked it this year.
Yeah.
I'd like to get your take though.
I honestly think I'm pretty indifferent about how they structure it. As someone who plays fantasy sports, it is annoying. Totally with you on
Objectively
that.
annoying.
But if I remove that from my subconscious and I just look at it, it's probably better. I kind of like having the review show that we do on a Monday, talk about 7 games instead of 9.
Yeah. It's just, you can just pay more attention to those individual games.
Absolutely. And overall, like sometimes those weeks of less games, like if we had 2 weeks of like 5 games and 4 games, that would be pretty annoying, I think.
Be a nice little break though for us.
Kind of.
But I think you have to take us that part of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I feel like that would be more annoying. Whereas, how many times do you get to watch all 9 games anyway? Like, there's always some overlap.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm actually okay with them spreading it. I think this is actually better. Now I think about it.
I think so too. I think that's unpopular though. Based on what I see online.
I think people just don't like bye rounds in general.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how they fixture with Tasmania coming in. Rogue AI, I think that is. Essendon should bring in a policy that they only draft and trade for players that were Essendon fans growing up to keep in line with the same mentality for a head coach.
Great call.
Yes.
Great call. That would be a bit silly, wouldn't it, Jesse?
It would. Archie Butler is a big Essendon fan.
Big Essendon fans. I know one club that I see, and this is probably because they're in the draft a lot at the moment. Little break of voice there.
I didn't notice.
Okay. Richmond fans really like that. Like last year they had... so Sully Roby was Essendon.
He was, yeah.
But they did really like him. But they liked Xavier Taylor a lot. They were disappointed that they didn't get Xavier Taylor because he was a big Richmond fan growing up.
Yeah,
Murphy Reid, they were annoyed.
I mean, they did pass on him twice.
Murphy Reid?
No, Xavier Taylor.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
the club did, but the fans...
Oh.
The fans really like going for those players. So maybe Job Shanahan was also a Richmond fan. I know that in that 2024 draft as well, the fans were sort of getting around that a bit. But I don't think you can look at those things too much. Like,
no. I think it's a facetious comment. But
it is a facetious comment, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it's an interesting shout and kind of shows the hypocrisy of that initial claim.
What are your thoughts on Hurd as potentially coach? There is a Footy Fan Network video out right now of Kane Corns and I think it's Joel from the Sash. I forget. I met him very fleetingly.
I haven't watched the video, but like I think if you're arguing for James Hurd, you're in a difficult position.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
He did a really good job.
Did he?
I think he really made a good account of that argument. I think he's clearly an intelligent guy.
But he's still wrong.
I don't agree. Yeah. But go check out the Footy Fan Network. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice, the romantic appeal of like drafting an Archie Butler who loves your club. I think I would love that as well as a fan.
If you've done all the work on him, he sits there and he's one of the players. Like even if you've got 2 players and you absolutely have, like you just can't make the decision. They're very, very close on talent.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it comes into it 1%, 2%, 3%, and it probably comes into a whole character conversation. But you're not just plucking it out of nowhere, are you? You're not just like, we're just bringing in a bunch of Essendon supporters. I don't think there's any evidence that that's ever worked.
No. It'd be cool to see some data on how, like the success rate of players who play for the club they loved. I don't know if it would lead anywhere, but it'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
You'd have to eliminate some father-sons. Like I'd imagine Ablett Jr. was a Cats fan.
Do you think that players that get drafted to clubs that they support, like there is a small percentage of their buy-in increases, like they care more? Is there a care factor? I don't think so, but
probably not. I think you'll find that most like athletes don't love their teams like we do.
They're self-motivated.
Yeah, exactly. Generally are.
That's probably how they should be too.
Yeah, a lot of them these days, well, over the last 15 years, I feel like a lot of draftees sort of drop their club when they know they're about to get drafted.
But isn't the whole idea as well to go into that, like they do that, and that's the whole thing about team sport. You're really like you're playing sport and you're a team player. So whatever team you walk into, you will adopt the customs of that team.
Yeah.
And it's more about being a team player than having some weird loyalty to a club.
Yeah. It doesn't make you a better player, just being in love with your team.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'd be a Coleman medalist by now. We've got a couple of Carlton ones. Boy Boo, who says Carlton will win a wildcard game. And I Love Golf, who says Carlton is going to keep winning and they won't be able to match the bid on Cody Walker. Let's start with a wildcard win.
Carlton are going to... I mean, it just got more likely because I feel like that Giants game was the point where like if they dropped that, the dream's probably over.
I thought it was a danger game for them too. I thought the Giants would have them covered.
So did I.
And they beat them.
So did I. I thought it was a kind of a danger game for both.
Yeah,
in a sense. But the fact that they did that, and in the end, they kind of did it pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
Like the pressure was intense. They were so good. They've still got some tough games to come. They've got 2 really winnable fixtures, which will actually put them into the 10. If they're in the 10, if they can make the cut, I don't see why they couldn't win a wildcard game.
So who are the teams that they could be playing in the wildcard? The Bulldogs, the team they just beat?
Yep. Collingwood.
Collingwood could be there.
I think they'll miss.
Melbourne could be in there.
I think Melbourne will be in the wildcard.
Yeah. Adelaide might be too good for it now.
I think they're too good. Then
Gold Coast.
Yes, Gold Coast.
So, I actually think
there's no reason they couldn't, on a one-off game, win a wildcard game. They're not going to go deep into finals.
Nah.
But we know this club is an emotional club.
Yeah.
And if they get... It's really just qualifying. If they qualify, they could do a little bit. I think they could go on maybe a couple of wins even. A little bit of a run, but it'll ultimately stop.
Yeah, God. What a great year for content for Carlton creators. Like being 1-8, just free views.
Yeah.
And then just going on a mad run and making the wild card. That is the ideal season for a content creator in terms of maximizing views.
100%. It's like the storyline is just awesome.
100%.
But yeah, they're riding a wave. On the Walker part of that, won't be able to match a bit on Walker. They'll work it out.
Yeah.
Like they'll work it out, but it's clearly it gets harder.
Yeah.
The higher you go on the ladder. In some ways, there was probably a part of Carlton that would have been like, it would be just easier if we just stayed in that bottom four, and then we get the bid done. But it doesn't work like that.
No. There are so many different things they can do, I think, around trading picks and stuff. It's really hard to speculate at this early point, but I think they'll find a way. John Scarce. North's biggest issue right now is their lack of form away from Marvel Stadium, but they're still making massive progress. What are your thoughts?
Does that come into the Lancelot one as well?
No, this is...
sorry.
No, let's separate them.
Separate them. Okay. North's biggest issue is their form away from Marvel Stadium, but they're still making massive progress.
Bit Marvel dominant, are you?
You know what? I actually don't know.
Yeah, okay. Haven't noticed that as a trend.
I haven't noticed that as a trend.
Your best performances this year, Port Adelaide and Gold Coast.
Yeah,
you beat Carlton in a good win. And Marvel.
It's really hard for me to separate those things. So I reckon in the Carlton and the Gold Coast game, yes, we won the games, so tick. But like we were getting flogged as well for large portions of those games. I don't know how much that's the Marvel factor, and I haven't noticed that as a general trend with North Melbourne. Clearly, young sides tend to travel poorly.
Yeah.
Like the game against Freo is a really good kind of account there. I think the Adelaide game as well.
The exception might be that you played well in Gather Round against Brisbane.
Yeah. I don't know if Gather Round is the best like starting point to judge that, because you've got two teams travelling. It's a bit of a festival of football. It's kind of a different vibe.
Sure.
Compared to going to somebody else's cauldron and having to kind of deal with the fans and stuff like that. So the biggest issue is their lack. I'm going to say no. It's not their biggest
Probably
issue.
not their biggest, but it's a fair thing to point out.
Yeah.
They are playing better at Marvel. Lancelot, North Melbourne's selling home games to grounds where they do not have a distinct advantage, as opposed to Hawthorn in Tasmania or Gold Coast in Darwin, or we could even say North in Hobart previously. Shows that they are not serious about winning. A serious club would not agree to play West Coast at their home venue for premiership points.
Yeah, I think it shows a lack of strategy.
Yeah.
I think what Hawthorn were able to set up and build, I think it probably shows that they had a bit more of a long-term vision. They knew that Tasmania was a place for them to go, that had the fans there. There wasn't already an AFL market for them. So they were going to attract people and make it a bit of a fortress for themselves, where I think North Melbourne are purely just cash grabbing for the WA play. I think that's probably the difference.
Because they were into Tassie prior to this agreement.
North,
is that right?
We've been everywhere.
But yeah, it's true. But were you in Tassie up until this agreement? Does the WA thing erode the?
I think it coincided with us needing to get out of Hobart.
Okay.
For the Tasmanian team coming in, and then us looking for other arrangements to make cash.
Yeah. Okay.
So there hasn't. I know, like you're a Western Australian person, and you have told me that there is quite a large base of North Melbourne supporters over there.
Decent.
So there's something in there, but I don't think if you're going over to Western Australia to play Fremantle and West Coast, you're not in it for the sporting competitive element.
It'd be interesting to see if this maintains when North are in finals again. I think it's a 4-year deal, so we're in year 2. So you'd hope that North would be in the 10 at least by the end of year 4. You'd be interested to see. I'd be interested to see if they continue.
Yeah, I don't think it's a huge hit on the club. Like it's overblown in the media how much a hit it is on us right now. I mean, we went 1-1, didn't we? We've gone 1-1 both times.
Yeah,
not a disaster. The Freo result was a disaster in isolation.
Yeah.
It's probably, for me, it's just I feel like the club in general has to come up with creative ideas here to generate income, because we're a smaller market club in Melbourne. Is this it for the long term? Like, you wouldn't have thought so.
No.
It doesn't seem like a very good long-term strat.
Yep. Reef Luke, member of the channel. Elliot Yeo has turned into a bang average player.
I might let you take this one.
I think that's really harsh. I think we're talking about a guy who is top 10 in my BNF. Has sort of performed in fits and starts this year, spending a bit of time on ball, but clearly a bit of a stopgap. I think he's been thrown back and impacted. I think he's thrown forward and probably not impacted massively. And he's been on and off, but he's 32. He's missed an entire year of footy last year. I think we can't expect too much from Elliot Yeo. I think like he's past his expiry date, so any value that he gives us is a bit of a plus for me. That being said, is he a bang average player? I still think that's too harsh.
Yeah, I think it's tough on these guys. What I would say about someone like Elliot Yeo, from my experience watching football, someone like that relied so heavily in his heyday on his athleticism. When it starts to go into your 30s, it's really tough for those guys to figure out different ways to play. Some have done it. Fife struggled a lot with it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Later on in his career when his body was really, really broken up, where you see someone like a Lachie Neale who's absolutely thriving because he never relied on that. So he's been able to stay a little bit more consistent.
It's true.
Yeah, he's definitely not the player that he was. That seems like a bit of a harsh pop.
Yeah.
Given we kind of know all of that.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think he's like been stinking it up or anything like that. I think he's been fine.
I suppose it's just in the situation that West Coast find themselves in. You'd love it if Elliot Yeo was kind of playing like a Lachie Neale.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess I never had that expectation, but I think he's played well at times this year.
Yeah,
on and off. I would never have described him as, maybe once or twice he's had an off game this year. That's about as far as I'd go. Lucas Proctor. Fremantle winning always gets overlooked because people hate to admit they're good. Instead, they focus on how the other team has played badly for that one game. Now, not how Freo wins so consistently equals them being good. Dylan.
What?
Do you have any thoughts on it?
I don't really find this to be a phenomenon. I sort of more think that Freo are that like fun, up and coming, sexy team that everybody loves to love. Is probably how I've seen it in the media.
Yeah,
have they not got their flowers?
I think they have.
You think they have?
I think they have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody's loving Murphy Reid at the moment, loving Luke Jackson, the unicorn. There's Wharfie time.
Yeah, they got a lot of praise on First Crack I watched this morning.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Freo.
I think the only part I'd tap into there that maybe Freo fans kind of see a little bit is they are a very like defensively rigid team, and they're not. Their defense probably outweighs their attack in general in games, and they've come from behind a little bit in games, so they've been a bit of a team that's grinded results out.
Yeah,
you kind of flip that with the Sydney Swans, who are that really all-out offensive team. Like they tend to get the flowers a little bit more just from like a gameplay style of things, but I think that's just the territory when you play that way. I think overall though, I think people have been excited to see a team that like they've never won a premiership. Obviously, they're not a team that's like habitually successful, so people kind of like to see that team rise.
Yeah. Oh, I'm stoked for it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, but I think there's a bit of belief that the commentary sometimes can be anti-Freo. I haven't really noticed that because I haven't been paying attention to what the commentary is doing. I've seen some rhetoric online about it. I have noticed in the past that they do get overlooked in terms of like Gary Lyon commentating or like the match day commentary, like ignoring Freo. I don't think that's isolated to Freo. I think a lot of clubs experience that.
Yeah.
But this year I don't think Freo's being overlooked at all. I don't think they've been overblown either. I think big talking point each week is how do Freo keep doing it? How
do they keep doing it?
Yeah.
They've got a lot of young players, so there's that. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, the individuals get their praise. I mean, Shea Bolton, Murphy Reid, Josh Treacy, Luke Jackson.
Yeah.
Andy
is that
Brayshaw?
just a little bit of because Freo have been a fairly unsuccessful team? There's a bit of imposter syndrome amongst the fan base a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Don't know where exactly that's coming from, but I think a lot of fans feel like their club is overlooked.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually think they talk about North too much.
Yeah.
Like stop talking about us. We're shit.
Yeah. Tronk has. Josh Carr has been a top 6 coach this year with the personnel available to him and the lack of talent on Port's list, alongside the drastic changes to Port's game plan.
I've seen a bit of stuff on this.
Yeah, didn't someone say that they had him as like the 3rd best coach?
Yeah, who did say that? And I can't remember who that was, but somebody said that he was like was it no, it wasn't Lloyd. It wasn't Lloyd. It was I can't remember. Yeah. Anyway, who cares?
Yeah.
Has he been a top 6 coach? I've actually go back and forth on this because I'm like, on some level, I look at Port Adelaide's list, and we did this at the beginning of the season. We were talking about it. We're like, they're going to be rubbish this year.
Yeah.
And then you actually go through the list and you go, how can they be rubbish? They've got some really good players.
Like their top end's good. I think it falls away pretty dramatically.
It does fall away. But does it fall away dramatically, or have they recruited unconventionally and we don't know who these guys are?
Well,
and
yeah.
some of them are playing better football
Like
than
Corey Durden.
Like Corey Durden.
Durden's having a great year.
Durden's kicking a goal every single game, which is absolutely nuts. And like, they've got a couple of players that are doing really well. Like I've really liked Harrison Ram, Jack Whitlock stepping up to the plate, Joe Berry's improving. So I think from a developmental point of view, I think Josh Carr's getting the best out of these guys that the recruiters have brought in.
Yep.
So on that level, yes. There are still some players there though.
Who though? Like you
Hornet.
got Butters, Horn Francis,
Georgiades. I mean, Bergman's. I know Bergman's not having a great. Alia's been terrific.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah,
but a club needs more than 4 performers, like 4 like elite performers to elevate them.
I know. But if you go through a lot of different teams, like there's like and they're not like where are they on the ladder?
Yeah, they just got pants by Collingwood. That was a disappointing performance.
Yeah, they kind of started all right, to be fair.
Yeah, they did. I don't think they kicked a goal in the second half.
Yeah, they just fell apart. But they did get a lot of injuries in that game too.
Yeah, I do think from the eye test they're going better than like bottom 4, which is where I think they are. I think they're going better than that. And the percentages around that mark, about 100, sorry.
Yeah.
The defense is really highly rated. The defensive one-on-ones and their ability to defend, I think, has been impressive. I think he's batting above his average a little bit.
He's probably batting above slightly.
Yeah.
But if you went like didn't they have like a really soft draw coming into the beginning of the season? They probably underperformed into that soft draw. I remember you making a call that they could have won all of their first 5 games. And I think they were probably 2 and
2, I reckon, because they had North, West Coast, at Richmond and Essendon in their first 4.
Yeah, and they beat Richmond and Essendon.
That's right. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, okay. I would go with the batting slightly above. I think some of the claims he's been like the best coach are a bit hyperbolic.
I mean, how do you compare? How do you compare like a new coach on 6 months with a list that isn't really equipped to play finals in our opinion, but I think he's going well.
He couldn't be doing too much better, and you do have to factor in that they've been in a lot of games.
Yeah, I think it's been a solid start from Josh Carr. Boy, boo. The All-Australian team does not need to pick players in only their regular positions. Its purpose is to reward the best players from the season, even if some are slightly out of position. A lot of talk about Harvey Thomas being the best winger, and no shade to him, but he doesn't fit the AA team. Errol Goulden was the exception.
Okay. So I slightly agree with boy, boo. There has to be some sort of cutoff with positional quality. I think there is that conversation that you have to have had like an all-Australian quality season. So just because you play like a particular position quite well, it doesn't mean that you're going to get in. And that they're going to slightly spread those kind of mids and mid forwards and stuff like that have had incredible seasons. But there has to be a limit, doesn't there? Because otherwise we just wouldn't pick any of the other positions. Like we'd pick predominantly mid forwards, kind of attacking, scoring players. Yeah. And we wouldn't pick any defenders. So what's the cutoff?
I think it's kind of arbitrary. Like I think it's got to be a vibes-based thing.
Yeah.
A little bit. Harvey Thomas is a good example. I think Massimo was another winger that missed out recently, right?
Did Dempsey make it last year in the end?
I want to say yes, but I can't be sure.
I can see it in my head that he's like...
I feel like he did.
He's in the blazer.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. It feels like a long time ago now. But I think to some extent, but you've got to be pretty exceptional as a wingman, I think, to beat out the likes of... let's go through some All-Australian midfielders. Bont, Dacos, Dawson... Heaney, you could probably put on a forward flank.
You could put him on a forward flank, or a midfield.
Yeah.
You're talking possibilities, players like, Andy Brayshaw would be in the mix, I suppose.
Yep. Bailey Smith could be on a wing.
Bailey Smith could absolutely be on a wing. Max Holmes could be on a wing.
Yep.
I think those players where they sort of play outside roles anyway.
Even Lachie Neale, I don't think is a million miles away from the team, nor is Christian Petrarca.
Lachie Neale's definitely not a million miles. He's been incredible this season.
He has.
Petrarca feels like he started really, really hot, and he had
that injury, so I don't know. Like he needs to work his way back into that team. But
I agree with the premise that boy boo is saying, in that you can't put a Harvey Thomas ahead of some of those names. Like even if it is a wing, you can't really have like a Max Holmes going behind someone like that. The quality difference is just too much.
Agreed. J.O.S. Hot take. Essendon will pay overs for Jed Walter and it will be an enormous mistake to begin their rebuild. So my first thought is I don't think Essendon's beginning their rebuild. I think they're further into it than people may think. I think they have been adding pretty good young talent over a period of time. They probably lack one of those top echelon +4s that we were doing in our youth point series.
Yeah, although we just upgraded Sullivan Roby.
Yeah, Sullivan Roby, Nate Caddy would be in that category. You'd love to add one more with Harry Van Hattum or Archie Butler.
Yeah,
which they will.
You'd think that they would get this year.
And they could still get Jed Walter in addition to one of those players.
Yeah.
So a long-term partner to Caddy. I'm not sure. He's out of contract. Like it's a big thing to predict Essendon going to overpay.
Yeah. I think AFL fans and probably sports fans in general, like there's always a bit of a cost fallacy around some of these things. Like people would prefer they almost want to win. They want to win these transfer markets a lot. And so you look at a player like Jed Walter. I think Bailey Humphrey's another really good example of this, where we've seen a lot of high-end traits from someone like a Bailey Humphrey. So of course he's going to attract big money. Jed Walter's got a lot of high-end traits. He was a pick 3 a couple of years ago. He's a key position forward. As if he's not going to have won a Coleman by now, is he?
No.
And just because he hasn't won that Coleman and he hasn't put together like an A-grade season doesn't mean that he's not going to attract big money, because he's still that same talent that he was back in 2023 when he got drafted. So what are we talking about here? What's paying overs for Jed Walter anyway?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's no way it's going to cost them pick 1.
No.
I guess you could say that Essendon could back themselves next year and offer a future first, but bearing in mind Tasmania draft. But if they win the Spoon, that's still like pick 2, I think.
It's still going to be up there. Yeah. I mean, that you will have those players that have been taken out of the draft as well.
Yeah.
So the draft is already weaker.
Yeah, that's true.
But who knows? The Gold Coast Suns might have, coming into that draft, a player that they need points for. They might need the pick, which will help them be able to get that player that Tasmania can't pull out of the draft. So Gold Coast are in a bit of a different situation there. It's going to be tough with what Gold Coast actually want to do with their players. They're in a really interesting situation at the moment. But I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I actually don't think he'll go to Essendon.
Maybe not. Yeah. I was just assuming.
I know. Yeah. Of course. Brandon Cavallaro. West Coast will win another flag before Carlton, Essendon, North, Bulldogs, Power, and Collingwood. I need to be separated.
It's a
from
lot
this
of.
one.
Yeah, you can't do this. Carlton, Essendon, North, Bulldogs, Power. These are hard questions to answer, obviously. Like so much has to happen. I'd be willing to be relatively confident in looking at those teams that they're ahead of a Port Adelaide.
Sure.
Collingwood with where they're at, unless Collingwood can do some major transfer activity,
it's
going to be a struggle for them. Do the Bulldogs get Butters? That comes into it, but they've just been they've been the biggest tease for year after year now.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go into that group where it's a little bit more comparable with where their lists are at, like Essendon, North Melbourne, to some degree Carlton, who are starting to bring some talent in with their father-sons. I can't say that the West Coast Eagles are any worse than those teams, and I think on some level they've got the best top-end talent of all of those teams. They don't have as much of it, so if they can bring in talent over the next few years and they can recruit really well, we know they're a big market club. Like they've got a lot of capital. They can attract players. If they get a Chad Warner in the next couple of years, I don't see why not. I'm not prepared to say that they're categorically above all of those teams, but what am I saying? I'd back them as much as I would anyone.
Yeah.
They're more likely than North.
Yeah.
For sure.
If I were quickly go through it, Collingwood going to be coming from further back, I would have thought. Port Adelaide in the same bucket. Bulldogs is probably the one where I'm like, how can you say that? Like, they're much closer right now. If you told me they jagged a flag in the next 3, I'd be like, maybe.
The only thing we can really do is treat the club's history and judge that against them, but that's kind of arbitrary, isn't it?
Carlton, Essendon and North. So what West Coast would have over North is the ability to get players back to WA, and North can't attract those players.
Plus you have Harley Reid and Willem Dersma, who just look like elite talents.
Absolutely, but here's the caveat. If West Coast lose one or both of those players, they go pretty much, not to the back of the order here, but it's a fair knock, right?
And they're both from Victoria.
Exactly. And they both will garner so much interest. I'd say West Coast is further along than Essendon, and I'd like to think they're going to be a bit further ahead than Carlton. But yeah, we're still so far off that it's a little bit all academic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like the optimism though. Visavixo says all non-Victorian top 4 finish to the season for the first time since 2006 and the second time in history. Fremantle Sydney is guaranteed for top 2, but then along comes Adelaide and Brisbane. 98% of AFL fans would have either Geelong and or Hawthorn in their 4. However, a sense of top 4 finish, including the Swans Crows grand final to top it off.
I don't hate this.
I mean,
I don't hate
it's
this as a
left
claim.
field. It's against the odds, but it's not completely batshit crazy.
It's not batshit crazy at
Like
all.
Adelaide and Brisbane. Well, Adelaide's coming.
Adelaide are coming really, really hard.
There's definitely not that big a gap.
I don't think you can say that Brisbane are coming hard.
No.
They've won a couple of games, but one of them was against Richmond. So let's park the... I've been sipping tea. Let's park the brakes on Brisbane. There's kind of a part of me that thinks there's no world that Hawthorn don't make the top 4. That's the only thing that's holding me back on this one.
See, I don't think they're a lock for the 4, but could they do what they did last year, slump to 8th and make it prelim?
Yeah, they could.
Like, I don't think they'll finish 8th, but like, I'm not sure they're a lock for the 4. As good as they actually are, they'll probably shine in finals. So I could see the Crows overtaking them. I don't have the points difference in front of me.
I'd almost say at this point, I'm actually predicting the Crows to finish in the top 4. Yeah.
So over who? Geelong?
Probably the Cats at this point.
Yeah.
Cats sit just outside.
See, I think the Cats are safer than the Hawks. But in September, the Hawks could beat them.
Geelong looked pretty vulnerable at times.
Yeah, they did. But they also went over with some of their key players out against Fremantle, didn't tag anyone, and only lost by 9 points.
Yeah, I know.
They probably should have lost that game by more. I think when the Whips get cracking, Geelong will be in that form.
Didn't you tip them to finish like 8th this year?
I don't recall. I don't think it was 8th. It might have been 7th or 6th, though.
Yeah, okay.
It might have been 7th, yeah. But I don't mind it. I would love to see a Sydney-Adelaide grand final, but I think Fremantle will be there.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Sean Christie, Fremantle, the Collingwood of the West. Everybody loves having 2 bye rounds, so let's have 1 bye every week by bringing in a 19th team. Fremantle, Collingwood of the West.
Oh, so this is two
Yeah,
different
but
goals?
we sort of covered the bye one.
Fremantle are the Collingwood of the West.
I'm not sure why they're the Collingwood of the West.
No.
I think they're a bit... I think, if anything, West Coast is similar to Collingwood's brand.
That's what I thought too.
And Fremantle, the underdog. Fremantle, you're closer to your Carlton. I don't know if Carlton's an underdog brand now. It probably is now.
It's so hard because the history is so different.
Yeah,
it's hard to even saying Fremantle or like a Carlton. See, I grew up coming out of I grew up in the 90s, so my parents had seen like the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, that kind of era. So I grew up with this idea that Carlton were a powerhouse, even though I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
They won a flag in 95, so I did see them win a flag when I was really, really young. So they feel like a winning team to me.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was growing up, I felt like Collingwood were a little bit more... They were a bit of that team that people talked about as like... They had the Collywobbles.
Yeah, okay.
They lost... I think they were the team that had lost the most grand finals.
Yes, I think that's still true.
That type of thing. So, I don't know. Like, as far as a brand, like you said, that feels like... West Coast feels like the perfect comparison to Collingwood for me.
Speaking of West Coast, I got 2 before we finish. Nathan Jones. Eagles will end up the winners, taking Ginbey and Hewett over Sheezel. I wanted to jam this in there.
So wait, we got Sheezel and Wardlaw?
No, just over Sheezel. It was the pick split. So it wasn't a trade between the Eagles and North. It was just that the Eagles had the pick. They split it for Ginbey and Hewett. And Nathan is saying that will be better in the long run.
Okay. But the only thing is it's not really a win over North Melbourne. That's the only thing. So it's a win just...
No, that's true.
Like,
because
we didn't, West Coast it wasn't question. Like a one or the other for us.
No, it's not. But just from a West Coast point of view, would you rather have Ginbey and Hewett over Sheezel, or would you rather have Sheezel?
It's a good conversation, actually, isn't it?
I was more confident at the start of the year with Hewett.
I'm getting less and less confident on Hewett.
And so Hewett's almost like this wild card that could be really good, and that would tip the Eagles over the line. But you almost have to look at it as Ginbey v Sheezel. For West Coast specifically, I don't think I would trade Ginbey for Sheezel for where we're at.
No, and I actually think the more that I think, I'm basically just in my head, I'm just doing it as a Ginbey versus Sheezel.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going who's better, Ginbey versus Sheezel, like which team wins, I don't think anyone loses. That's like the way that I would look at that.
Yeah.
I think both teams would take both players. Like, could North use a Ginbey right now? Like, absolutely. He'd just go straight in and be like our best key position defender.
Well, that's true.
I reckon we'd like Ginbey more than we'd like Sheezel. But on the same token, I reckon West Coast would kind of love just that accumulator, crafty player like Sheezel as well.
Yeah.
So does it have to be a winner and a loser here? Not that it's West Coast versus North, but Ginbey and Hewett.
Just did West Coast make the right move? It's probably the other way to frame it.
I think West Coast made the right move categorically if Hewett becomes a really good player.
That's true, yeah.
But if Hewett doesn't become a really good player, I think it's like much of a muchness.
Yeah, Ginbey is a bit of a heart and soul guy for us as well. So, I don't think either club are looking at that and wanting to swap.
No.
But
I didn't answer that very well.
No, but I'm comfortable with it. I'm sure you're not too...
That's
well, I was going to say
it wasn't an either or for us.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. For you, it was probably you traded one back. It's so messy because it could have been Cadman.
Could have been Cadman.
Yeah. Last one. Milbo's clip says Harry Van Hattum. I just don't see it. Looks like a lumbering ruck. Not this athletic freak we've been hearing about.
Yeah, he played at the weekend. Definitely didn't shoot the lights out. I would just hold a little bit on Harry Van Hattum. He's been injured for the last month. Didn't look like he had the same power that we saw at the beginning of the season. So, let's let him just get into champs a little bit. I must admit though, even across the entire season, I don't think compared to say a Cooper Duff Tyler from last year, he's not getting after the ball at ground level as much.
Yeah.
When he's got the ball in his hands and he's got a bit of space, he can kick it really well. He can kick it like a mid. At the centre ball ups, great jumper, getting the hit outs. But he's not that real sort of dynamic runner like a Luke Jackson.
Yeah.
Which I think people are picturing in their head. And then they see him and he's a bit more just kind of, he covers the ground quite nicely, but it doesn't stand out when he's up against mids. So hold, but maybe not the worst shout in the world.
I like it.
Just to be clear, I've got Archie Butler ahead of him.
Oh, yeah, okay. Fair enough. Thanks for your unpopular opinions, guys. We didn't get to all of them. We had to go through as many as we could. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.